And welcome back to probably the only video I'm doing today that's actually going up on Tuesday. Now, I actually got asked the question from, I believe it was, oh crud, give me 1 second. I had the name up here. I didn't write it down, but I can scroll through my notes real quick here. From Will Anderson the Ox. And he asked me the question, like, do I do Dragon Ball Z lists or anything like those? And I'm like, well, I used to do lists, and I occasionally still do. Like, the worst to best are still technically lists. But the problem is a lot of the better people who do lists actually have graphics and videos, and I don't have those. But he asked the question, like, well, you can do it in, like, a discussion forum or something like that. And he asked if I could do one with Goku's best rivals. And, you know, a discussion forum, that's easy for me to do. I can just sit here and talk to you guys. And we can have a discussion open-ended about that. So yeah, why not? If you want to throw discussions in, I'll make a new playlist saying discussions, and I'll label it discussion. Then sure. Now, so yeah, for this one, it's Goku. Who are Goku's best rivals? Now, understand that what we're defining as a rival in this conversation. A rival is someone who, throughout the series, has been able to test, push, and improve Goku on some level. So, for example, I do not count Frieza as a rival, because Frieza has always been a villain. Villains don't count necessarily. Vegeta started out as a villain, but he stopped being a villain. And like Jiren was the antagonist. Jiren's not a villain, but he was an antagonist. Ultimately, though, he does become a method for Goku to improve himself and surpass his limits. So you can make that as a rival. There was a competition between them. However, someone like Frieza, yeah, there's been more than one fight with him and Goku, but I can't count them as rivals. They are opposing sides of the same coin, basically. One's good, one's bad. They're not rivals. A rival is someone who, on some level, shares some of your principles, but is trying to surpass you in getting to your goal. That would be it. So Frieza doesn't count. Boo does not count. Cell doesn't count. Villains who ultimately died do not count. But I mean, other than that, let's just talk about it. I just wrote down a list of basically the main ones. I'm sure there's been some minor ones as well that I can't think. Like Pikkon technically can count as a rival, but he's only in the filler arc, which is that's one of the better filler arcs, honestly. The other World Tournament, but he's only in the filler arc. He's only got a real fight with Goku at the end, and he only shows up in one of the movies, the Fusion Reborn movie. So ultimately, I can't you count Pikkon. But I mean, let's start with Krillin. Krillin was basically Goku's first real rival. Like, Yamcha was around, but I can't count Yamcha. Yamcha was an antagonist, let's be clear. Krillin was Goku's first rival, and for his best friend, and still today, his best friend. But that was kind of what really, it was them trying to push themselves beyond their limits to improve. Krillin wanted to be the best in Roshi's eyes, and Goku was just there because he was having fun and to train and improve his methods and powers and strength, and they were able to push each other. In fact, we actually saw at one point, Krillin was stronger than Goku in terms of his power level. So they really showed off a good. See, they were an example of a rivalry that turned into a friendship, a rivalry that turned into a long-lasting, long-standing friendship between the two that has continued to evolve and stay prevalent today. Krillin continues to be Goku's best friend. Now, yeah, Krillin has kind of played not even second. Krillin has fallen to the wayside power-wise compared to someone like Goku or Vegeta or hell, even Gohan, even his weakened state. But he still has always been there to support Goku, to help Goku. And a lot of it's been Krillin who has helped Goku still surpass what he needs to. When Krillin was killed on Namek, Goku went Super Saiyan. His best friend killed in front of him. And then we see that his days of the martial arts were not gone by Super's time. I mean, for a while he was just a family man and a cop, but then he became a martial artist again thanks to Goku. Him and Goku had a couple really good sparring fights, and they had a good couple heart-to-hearts with each other. And we saw the continued growth of Krillin's character. He did get a little shafted in the Tournament of Power arc, though. Where it's like, I got knocked out due to a technicality. So, I mean, Krillin has always been Krillin's always been one of the best characters on the show because he's the everyman. While he is a martial artist and he has that power to pretty much blow up a planet if he really wanted to, he is the everyman. But he's there to give us to insert ourselves into the story and see it from his eyes, and we see the rivalry between him and Goku and how he's viewed Goku, and Goku's just left miles beyond him at this point, and he's perfectly okay with that. He's perfectly okay with being with his family instead and doing what he has to. Tien would be the next one on the list for rivals. I mean, right now I'd say Krillin. I mean, just going over who I think is the best, Krillin right now is the best because he's the only one I've talked about. Tien is a rival to Goku, but it's a much lesser rival. See, Tien had a really good starting foundation as a rival in Dragon Ball. He was pretty much the boss battle at the end of the next why was it the 21st? Whatever Budokai it was, that tournament that he fought in. And they had a long-standing rivalry going on because, Tien hated him for possibly killing Mercenary Taub and all that, and didn't want to blade a Mercenary Taub with this bad guy. And Goku's like, yeah, believe what you want. Now he kicked Tien's ass ultimately, but Tien won due to a technicality again, with Goku getting hit by a truck. So you had a much more terse rival. It was a much more abrasive rival in Tien. Whereas Goku wasn't really looking for a rival in Tien at the time. He was looking for, just to help avenge just to win the tournament. And Tien, for him, was much more personal. Once they reconciled their differences, though, when we really got the best rival bout between them was when Goku returned after his training with Kami. That fight between him and Tien was awesome. It was a really good fight. They were smack talking a little bit. They were really like going all out, balls to the wall. We see Goku take off the weighted clothes for the first time. It was a good fight, and we saw the real makings of a rivalry happen. Unfortunately, nothing ever came of that beyond that. Him and Goku never fought ever again. Ever. Like, never. I mean, he fought still. He was a Z fighter, and he was trying to improve himself so he could beat Goku again, as he said initially at the beginning of the Raditz saga, or near the Saiyan saga. But he never fought Goku again. He died to Nappa. He came back, never fought Goku in the entry. He got his ass kicked by the Androids. Was able to stall Cell, never fought Goku. Buu Arc, never fought Goku. Super, never fought Goku. So ultimately, he falls to the wayside. He's probably one of the lesser rivals that Goku's ever had. Move on to Piccolo. Obviously, Piccolo Jr., I'm not talking about King Piccolo, but Piccolo Jr., the Piccolo we know. That had a really solid founding rivalry. I mean, he wanted to revenge Goku. He wanted to kill Goku. Goku ended up beating him. But that rivalry didn't end. He was still technically a villain at that point, but as with Raditz coming, he kind of put aside his differences. Like, okay, got to team up together. We're rivals. They even get a moment in Dead Zone talking about their rivalry and stuff like that, and they even start to fight it out when they think they defeated Garlic Jr. And they hadn't. So that rivalry has always been a bit prevalent for the early part of Dragon Ball Z. It kind of falls to the wayside a little bit for a while when Goku died and he was taking care of Gohan, and he kind of reformed himself, and we didn't see much of it for a long while. But it rears its head again in the Android side. We see the training arc between training that Goku and Piccolo are doing, and they, that I love that moment where they're like disappearing, and they just had that shink, and Goku just appears, and they both cut each other's cheek, and they both just give each other that smile, like nice. That's the kind of stuff you like to see with a rival. That's the kind of they pushing each other harder. Unfortunately, it still again falls to the wayside throughout the majority of the series. The only time it really comes back to play is it's not even anything serious. It's just a throwaway line where the referee remembers Goku and Piccolo and say, hey, it wasn't really Satan who beat Cell, wasn't it? Just try, I promise you, you'll leave the ring intact, and say, yeah, we'll try. So there's still that little bit of, hey, man, good times. If you want to go, everyone, I'm ready. So Wow, right now I'd still put Krillin as the best rival because Krillin and Goku have sparred again and have tried to improve themselves and train together again later down the road in the series. Whereas Piccolo and Tien haven't, but I'll still put Piccolo over Tien. Like Krillin's the number one right now, Piccolo's the number two, and Tien's the number three right now. I'm gonna move over to the next one because honestly, I'm pretty certain it's gonna be number one. Hit would actually be my next discussion point for rivals. Now, Hit is an interesting factor. He didn't start off, he was just a fighter, and he was been around for over 1,000 years, never really had anyone who could challenge him. Then Goku comes around, and for the first time in his life, since he, became like Hit the Assassin, he had all these abilities, he had someone who could push him beyond his limits, and he's like, you know what? I've been improving with you, Goku, and I want to continue improving. So, and it was like actually like, I'm getting better at what I'm doing. My powers are growing because I actually have to push myself for once. This is kind of getting me excited. And you saw that real rivalry happen between them. Unfortunately, Hit, again, one of those individuals. We didn't see a Goku versus Hit rematch. We didn't see a Vegeta versus Hit rematch, which was hinted and teased, but didn't happen. So we didn't see that. But we did get a full episode devoted to it. Right? Technically, 2 episodes. Technically, end of an episode and then a full episode devoted to the fight between Goku and Hit. He put a Hit out on himself so Hit would take him on so he could fight Hit as full power. And then at the end, it's like, yeah, is there a... And then when he does beat Hit, Hit's just like, is there an expiration date on that Hit you put on yourself? Nope. All right, I complete my contracts. I'll get to it at some point. So it's like, yeah, Hit's just like, yeah, I'll beat you someday, Goku. I will. So it's really just 2 old war dogs, respecting each other's power and in combat. So that's the real cool. So Hit's still around because at the end of the series, everyone gets brought back. So ultimately, yeah, where would I put Hit? I think I would put Hit above Piccolo at this point, simply because Hit is more recent and has had more recent bouts. Piccolo hasn't had any recent bouts ever since Dragon Ball. He hasn't had a fight with Goku. And best he's done some training with Goku and a few nods. But I would put Hit probably as the number 2 right now. Then there's Caulifla. Now, Caulifla is interesting. Caulifla is such a bratty character. She is, when you really break it down, Caulifla is a brat. She's got a spoiled brat mentality. Like, I say, hey, you, teach me that thing and I'm going to kick your ass with it. No. It's like, oh, you think I'm going to kick your ass? No, I'm not going to teach you because you just demanded it. You don't demand shit and just have it fall into your lap. Oh, yeah, well, how about this? Like, yeah, you're funny. He's teaching her at that point. And she says, I'll beat you one day, Goku, when he beats her eventually as Kefla. So it's just one of those things like, yeah, it's like, the tingly back thing. And then she goes Super Saiyan 2 and there's a great kind of teacher-mentor rivalry there, particularly when she starts to actually overpower Goku when he's tired out. But she's also a brawler, so he's able to use his actual martial arts training to, counteract that. So ultimately, I think Caulifla's an interesting one. Now, you can't talk Caulifla without talking a little bit about Kale and then their fusion Kefla. Kale is not really a rival to go. Kale's just kind of an emotionally withdrawn individual who has deep affection for her sensei, Caulifla, and feeling that she was losing her, she loses control. Then she does gain control. That doesn't make her a rival, though. It makes her just an opponent for Goku, and then they tag teamed them, and it was definitely not easy for them after a while, because he was able to go to Super Saiyan God again. But Kefla you could definitely put as a bit of a rival. She and Goku definitely were trying to push each other, and she was able to push him again into Ultra Instinct Omen. When he had no other options left, his back was against the wall, he was able to go to Ultra Instinct Omen because of Kefla. And Kefla again wanted, he was pushing her, she was pushing him. But again, she has that spoiled brat mentality that really makes her unappealing in my eye as a character. She really was an irritant. Which I'm like, when she finally got knocked up, I'm like, thank God. So yeah, so Caulifla's an interesting one because it's a little less of a rivalry and more of a bit of a teacher-student mentality, but it's definitely a rivalry overall. I would probably put her below Piccolo because here's the thing. I never got whereas with Piccolo there's a mutual respect between him and Goku. I really didn't get Goku definitely respected Caulifla's strength. And Caulifla was enamored by Goku's strength, but I never got the impression she respected Goku. I never got that impression that she actually had respect for Goku. It's like, aren't you afraid? Of course I'm afraid, Kale, of my own overwhelming potential. Shut up! I think I remember reviewing that episode too and going like, shut up! So get your head out of your ass. Now they're really talking about it now. It's like, I really don't like Caulifla's character very much. She's just a brat. And brat characters need to get spanked. And, she got a paddling from Goku, which, thank God, a point-blank, ultra-instant Kamehameha to the face, which is still one of the most awesome moments in Dragon Ball Super, and probably one of the best, top 10 Dragon Ball moments overall? That one might be debatable. It's definitely maybe in the top 20, though. Because there's a lot of, just moments in Dragon Ball history. I'd put her probably below Piccolo because Piccolo actually has respect for Goku. I don't get that impression from Caulifla. Then we have Jiren. Jiren is the antagonist of pretty much of the Universal Survival arc, but again, he's not evil. He just has a history, and it's shaped his view. Ultimately, he is a rival to Goku for Goku to improve himself and go beyond his limits. So I can say that I put him as a rival. In terms of him as a character, we don't even get anything from his character until much later in the series, like the last couple episodes of the series. And when we finally get it, he's interesting. He's at least got some level of interest to him. He has a brick shit house of power, so it makes for some great fights. Ultimately, though, he was kind of just a tool to improve Goku from a narrative standpoint. He's just a tool to improve Goku, for Goku to surpass his limits. So I ultimately can't go very high for ranking Jiren. We just haven't seen enough of Jiren yet to really call him an effective rival. He did his job. He got Goku to go to Ultra Instinct. And we got that last fight with him, Frieza, and Goku, which was fantastic. And you see Goku just charging, just trying to turn Super Saiyan. It was nice. Ultimately, though, I actually can't put Jiren very high on the list. The one who is number one, though, let's be honest, Vegeta is the number one rival of Goku. Because Vegeta has always been playing second fiddle. Vegeta's whole arc, or his whole character, for the longest time, was to surpass Goku and to eventually be his equal and surpass him. And then anytime he did it, Goku found another way. When he and Goku finally reached Super Saiyan Blue together, and pretty much on equal terms, Goku showed off he had Kaioken. So I was like, damn it! Just when I think I've caught up to you, you just leap ahead of me, you bastard. But their story is one of enemies turned rivals. Like, true enemies turned rivals. He was there, he was going to destroy the Earth, beat Goku to a pulp in ape form, let him go. Eventually, and unlike everyone else, him and Goku have had other fights with each other. They had a legitimate... The whole Majin Vegeta Goku fight is a testament to the rivalry of these two. For the longest time, Goku was dead. He couldn't prove himself. He had no drive. Goku comes back. He's like, I can do it again. You're not... Nope. You're not leaving. You'll be back in your orbit. I'm not missing this chance. And like, this is our fate! And it's just... that same old power, that same old need to prove himself the best to Goku. And Goku never cared about that. And that pissed off Vegeta to no end. It isn't until the end of the series where Vegeta finally acknowledges his flaws as a character. Dragon Ball, mind you. Dragon Ball Z. He's having that moment where he's thinking of Goku. It's like, you've always been able to push yourself. It's like, I hate that about you, but maybe that's my problem. And then he finds this. Yeah, it's like, you are the best. It's like, I admitted, Kakarot, you are the strongest. You are the best. It's Vegeta finally letting go of that resentment towards Goku. And that was the true moment of his character of growth. And they continue to be rivals. They're training buddies. They're rivals. They continue to push each other beyond each other's limits. When Goku reaches Ultra Instinct, he reaches, I guess we're calling it Evolved Super Saiyan Blue or Royal Blue. I like Royal Blue myself. Because he's the Prince of all Saiyans, and he was kind of a royal blue. So Vegeta just, reaches that form, and then they're just there and working in tandem with each other. It was a great moment. It shows that there's still growth between these two characters. And you see them even at the end of the series, make you get even stronger, Vegeta. It's like, of course, Saiyans have no limits, and they get into that stance, that Vegeta stance, and Goku stance, and that's how it ends. Like, yeah, that's that's a nice way to end the series. And though the series supposedly might be coming back next year. So ultimately, yeah, let's not really mince words. I think Vegeta is Goku's greatest rival. But honestly, besides that, Krillin I think is Goku's second greatest rival. Then I'd say it's actually a hit just because they've actually had a legitimate fight recently. Piccolo probably falls under that. Then I would probably have to go Caulifla, and unfortunately Tien, well, no, Jiren probably falls at number one. Tien actually had a legitimate rivalry with Goku throughout the series. Problem with Jiren and Caulifla is they're just too new of characters, even Hit to some degree. But ultimately, that's how I would pan out the discussion of Goku's best rivals. What do you think? Who do you think Goku's best rivals? Who do you think his worst rival is? Put it in the comments below. But let's get a discussion going in the comments. Thanks for watching, though. I hope you enjoyed. Like, comment, share, subscribe. As always, if you want us to review something, put in the comments below. Let us know. We'll do a review of it at some point. Ideas for who to win, Star Wars, Superhero, Magic, what if, anything I do on this channel, put that in the comments below. Let me know. I'll get to that at some point. But thanks for watching. Hope you enjoy, and I'll see you next time.